Shalom Havrim. My name is Joshua Michael, and you're taking the Kosher Nutrition Education course. Today, we're going to talk about why we should consider to eat kosher. First, hopefully you all have downloaded the PDF from Dr. Heinrich, The Adverse Influence of Pork Consumption on Health. I know that there's some very disturbing information in this, but it also is very compelling when you stop and think about all of the aspects that he talks about. He points out many different important elements, such as even the avoidance of influenza by cutting out pork out of your diet, the addictive nature of pork, and some other very interesting topics. So have a look at that, have a read, go to the discussion boards, and let's have an open discussion in regards to this report. Okay? Now, let's have a look at Leviticus 11. Leviticus 11 gives us some very specific instructions regarding what we should and shouldn't eat. Now, considering that Elohim's talking to Moshe, and he's telling Moshe, hey, look, I want you to be healthy. Here's what you can and can't eat. Here's what I created to be food. Here's what I created to not be food. Okay? That's really how it reads in the scripture. So let us look at it. For the land-based animals, he says, anything that parts the hoof and chews the cud. Okay? And some animals, like the cow, not only chew the cud, they regurgitate, and they have 4 chambers to their stomach, and they actually process a lot of that material so that it breaks it down into very, very, very rich minerals for that cow. So when you think about then we eat and consume that, we're actually getting a very good product when we eat cow or when we eat that type of an animal that processes that food to that level. Okay, so parts the hoof and chews the cud. That includes sheep, goat, cow, oxen, those kind of things. Okay. Anything that doesn't do both of those things, we're told you cannot eat. Okay? Let's take a look at the land-based animals. Well, what does that include? He gives us some examples right there. A giraffe is off to us. Lion is off to us. Anything that carnivorous birds, eagle, falcon, those kind of things you cannot eat. Why? Well, what do they do? What is their function on Earth? Let's just take a look at what their function is. What do? They kill other animals, and they dispose of the dead waste that's on the earth. So an animal dies, and a lion may devour it, and a lion may kill and devour another animal. So that's what they do. Then when we think about the fact that they are actually killing an animal, okay, Scripture says the life is in the blood, okay? And then we are devouring that animal. You're actually taking in another dead animal. Why? Because that animal killed this other dead animal. And at least at a metabolic level, you're consuming that, that process, okay? So let's take a look at that. Let's also consider the fact that, let's take the animal pork, for example. If you've read that report by Dr. Heinrich, he goes into some great detail about why we ought to consider not eating pork. Another aspect of pork is that, now I was a soldier, I was in the Middle East, and I know that in the Middle East they used pig to dispose of, and excuse the graphic nature of what I'm about to discuss here, but they used pork to dispose of human excrement or human waste. They also pig will also eat human flesh, okay? And then you consider the fact that we're putting that on our dinner table and eating that. Another aspect of pork is pork doesn't have any sweat glands. They have no way to get rid of that waste product. In Dr. Heinrich's report, he talks a lot about how they actually have very short lifespans and very sickly animals, partially due to their diet. Pigs on farms used to be kept around to dispose of waste. That's what pigs' function is. It is a garbage disposal for the earth. And then we think of the fact that when we eat that, we're eating a garbage disposal, essentially. That's what we're eating. And we might want to consider not doing that. It probably isn't very good for us. And Dr. Heinrich's report actually explains in grave detail why it isn't good for us. Now, the great thing about Dr. Heinrich's report is he's giving you medical facts that I can't give you. He's giving you all research, and he's done radiologic research and into the fact that animal actually, in comparison to human, as far as flesh for flesh, is actually very similar to us in a lot of ways. And I will let you read that report, but some of the findings that he found when he radiated that pork are rather compelling and rather interesting. Okay, so enough of that. Let's consider looking into the possibilities of changing our diet. One of the things that Dr. Heinrich talks about in his report is the fact that we have an addictive, we kind of have an addictive nature to pork, or it actually has addictive properties. Part of that is to the toxins that the pig gives off when we eat it. And so anyway, we'll go into more of that later. Just have a look at it. I would suggest reading that document once, twice, maybe even 3 times to fully take in all of the information that he is putting out to you.